We have so many people in the world right now who are half-interested, lovers, half-hearted leaders, half-engaged employees, and it's ruining it for everybody else. It draws down GDP, that gross domestic product. It makes the work environment suck. It makes the home life suck. So you got to find out what's boring or miserable, and be on the lookout for that which makes you come alive. Notice, I really hammered this, and then I mentioned this one. And that which makes you come alive. Because a lot of people didn't know that which made them come alive until they experimented, right? If it's wrong, boring, and miserable, you make the conscious decision, I'm going to try some new things. You choose when to leave, but you try some new things. And see which one makes you come alive. You got to experiment. You got to try a lot of different things. I tried so many things when I left that company. I literally tried like hundreds of different things over the years. And the ones that I really connected with, I knew, I felt fulfilled. You know when it's not right. It's just hard to admit it sometimes. It's true. You know what's right. Just hard to admit it sometimes. High performers are admitting it. And listen, the productivity gains, and I know this is advanced because it takes courage, the productivity gains come in their life because they've cleared the decks. You've heard the phrase spring cleaning. Well, if you don't spring clean your life once in a while, there ends up being all this clutter. And all this clutter, it's harder to move around the house. It's harder to manage things. And so sometimes the greatest productivity gains in our life comes when we open up the white space in our life. We simplify. We identify that which is making us more come to life. Because if it's something that makes us come more to life, we focus a little bit more on it. We're more motivated in the morning. So our productivity gains grow. Your productivity lags when you're bored or miserable. I know you get it, but I'm telling you, every one of the top 15% of high performers, remember, high performers tended to be the top 15% in the general public anyway, meaning they're the 15% in whatever field or discipline we were studying. They were the top 15% athletes if we were studying athletes. They were the top 15% earners if we were studying salespeople. They were the top 15% in terms of their 360 peer reviews. Whatever we were studying, whatever area, the top 15% of that top 15%, everyone I interviewed over 30 of them in depth. Remember, this is the top 15% of the top 15%. Every one of them talked about this. And I was like, dang. You guys are gutsy. That's gonna be hard to teach people. They're gonna blame me for wrecked marriages and all these sorts of things. But it was definitely a pattern. Number 2, think legacy. One of the easiest ways to know if it's not right for you is, when you turn 50, 60, or 70 and you're looking back, are you proud of the output that you generated in that space, right? Earlier today, I talked to you about prolific quality output in your primary field of interest and spending 60% of your week there, okay? If that's what you did, you said, this is my area of focus, and you're creating in that space, and you're putting 60% of your work effort towards that, well, when you're 70, 80, or 90 years old, do you look back and go, proud of that? Feel good about those contributions. I find fulfillment there. And it left a good message in the world, or it left a good mark in the world, or it made a difference with those around there. Like, if you're there at the end of your life and you're evaluating what you've done, are you proud of that thing? And a lot of people are scared of that. They really are. And so they don't want to face it, and so they don't quit. And I'll give you an example. From my very young in my life. Matter of fact, I was in middle school? I was high school. I was in high school, and I had a job, and it was basically as a janitor in this big trucking company. And I was pushing the broom. That was my job. I basically came in, pushed the broom across the shop floor, which was, 10,000 square feet maybe. The trucks were in there all the time, and there was oil and stuff and mud all over the place, and I had to put the stuff on the oil to soak it up, and I had to sweep the whole thing with one sweeper that was this big. I still don't know why I didn't help. Anyway, little crappy sweeper, and it was just exhausting work. And I remember one day I'm sweeping, And I'm thinking, am I going to be proud of this work 10 years from now? I have no idea why I thought that. I'm a kid in high school. And I was like, I'm going to be proud that I had the hard job and that I did it well. But if I'm here a year from now, I will not be proud. You follow what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that you can't be prideful of the activity or the hard work. Recognize that. But as a legacy, if you stay there too long, there's a difference. You follow? I knew if I was still pushing broom a year later, that I wasn't activating my personal passion or activating my personal potential. And remember, I didn't know the right thing. I just knew that wasn't my legacy. And by the way, I don't bemoan that because I've worked with so many extraordinary people in maintenance and engineering and janitorial work. If that's their thing, that's their thing. I mean, if you read my book, Life's Golden Ticket, the hero is essentially the groundskeeper, right? So I connect with that work if it's done in a certain way. But for me, that wasn't going to be my legacy. So maybe you say, if what you're doing now, in 3 years, are you proud that you're still doing that thing in 3 years? Because that thing is changing people's lives, making your mark, doing something fulfilling. My job here is just to cue you as a high performance coach. That's what I'm always trying to do. I'm trying to cue you to find your own answers. But this is kind of how they told me they thought through and evaluated those quitting things that were wrong. Number three, this is so hard. Release those who are not ready. Most of the highest earning guys and gals I spoke to who had teams, had employees or significant numbers of contractors, or they had a team of people who helped them do what they do, and they were the highest earning. Most of them had significant teams and employees. They would talk all the time about the challenge of scaling, and as they went to scale to the new thing, that the thing they were doing wasn't necessarily wrong, and the team wasn't necessarily wrong, but there were some people who weren't ready for scale, and they had to let that person go. Everybody had that story. I've had that in my own career over the years of my own brand and business. I've learned that too. There's just some people who they're right there at the right time, but then as you scale and times change or needs change, they're not right anymore. And what they did is they released those people. They laid them off, they fired them, they left them, and it does not mean it was an easy process. This is why I want to start with this one for you. Brendon, this is heavy stuff, dude. I know. But I would say this was the habit. I told you it's advanced. It's advanced because the courage is there. What do you need to quit? Who do you need to quit? Who do you need to let go on? Who isn't right? Maybe they were right in your life years ago. They're just not right now. And that's okay. It doesn't mean they're wrong. I think we're all so scared to hurt people's feelings that we put up with drudgery for years. For what? For the sake of being in a drudgery relationship or being in a drudgery project? The world needs to see us come alive, not miserable. And you need to find your freedom at this stage of your life, whatever that means. It doesn't mean just quitting on people irresponsibly. What it does mean is being judicious about thinking through where you are at this stage of your life and what really is right for the next stage. Because sometimes it's very different. What's right for you the next stage, look, you're also gonna have to let go of some of your skills. There's so many things I am good at that I don't do anymore, right? Think about that. Is it true? There's some skills that you are so good at that you don't really do anymore at this stage of your life. It's just not right. I don't push a broom anymore. I am a hell of a broom pusher. I'm amazing. I mean, I can broom. Look, I am unbelievable at cleaning things. I can be obsessive to the nth degree, but I don't. It's just not relevant in my life anymore. There was a time that really mattered for me, right? It doesn't matter for me anymore. I had to let that skill go to focus on the next level of contribution. That makes sense? There's a lot of things. Oh my gosh, I am so good at design. I mean, if you've ever, well, okay, I think I'm good at design. But if you ever got something in the mail from me, I designed that. If you've seen the last, all of my books, I designed those book covers. If you've seen most of my websites over the last decade, outside of this last year or two, I did those. And I know a lot of those were janky. I mean, I love to design things. I love to make big brochures that are fancy and amazing. But me spending time there doesn't make sense for where I'm going. You follow? Like, I really love to dork out about audio and video. Doesn't make sense for me to spend a tremendous amount of time there because there are other people who are better at that, who can contribute there even more magically and way better than I ever could, even though I dork out about it. I gotta let go. Sometimes you gotta let go of some of your passions for the next stage of your life too. If you can accept that, I bet you can accept sometimes you gotta let go of some of the people to go to the next level too. Those people, especially for high performers, they're the naysayers, the doubters, the haters, the negative energy people. It's not saying they're good people or bad people. It's just saying their energy is not readying you for your next level of life, your next level of learning, growth, contribution. Be aware of that. Just be aware. That's my job.